bars? Where the bars at?
Oh, yeah.
Where the bars at?
Who want to go
Where the
first?
bars at? I don't got bars. I don't got bars.
Welcome back. It's been an incredible week for sports. The conclusion of the MLB World Series has left the NBA and NFL looking to top an amazing season. The NFL has been filled with plenty of surprises so far, and they're still going. And UConn basketball is back. The Huskies open their season at home against Colgate on Friday. We're looking to see how the guys think the Huskies will project this season. I'm ready. I'm pumped. So let's jump right into it. I'm joined by analysts Ben Stemmer and Isaiah Davis to give us the rundown on what is happening in the NFL. It's week 8 already. The NFL season has definitely given sports fans a roller coaster of emotions, with the disappointments, the surprises, back and forth games, unfortunately, impactful injuries up to this point. What has been the biggest disappointment to you this first half of the season?
Well, for me, I'm definitely disappointed by the performance of the New York Giants. They came in this season high expectations. People were talking about the Super Bowl with this team, but basically their offense has been abysmal.
Absolutely.
The offense was supposed to have some of the best receivers with Odell Beckham, Brandon Marshall, and Sterling Shepard, but basically the offensive line can't protect anybody, and they can't protect Eli, no run game. And let's go through some stats, basically. The Giants, 29th in the league in points per game, 28th in yards per game. Yeah, so with this record of 1-7, they are one of the 3 worst teams in the NFL. The only positive that could come out of this is if they get a top draft pick and maybe they can draft someone to save the franchise. Saquon Barkley, Sam Darnold, those are a couple names that they might want to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. Isaiah, who do you think has been the biggest disappointment of the season so far?
I think I would have to say the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders have been the biggest disappointment this year. They signed Marshawn Lynch this all season. Everyone thought this was going to be the Raiders' year. Derek Carr coming back nice and healthy. Yeah. They were second for Super Bowl odds, 6-1 odds. Everyone thought this was going to be the Raiders' year. 81 bets were put on the Oakland Raiders this year to win the Super Bowl. They started out hot, going 2-0 this year, but now they're 4-5, and those chances are starting to fade away. They went from the 6th scoring offense last year, and this year they're only 19th. Cooper and Crabtree are out there doing their pregame rituals, putting butter on their hands before each of their games, jumping every pass that's thrown at them most of the time. Marshawn Lynch before yesterday night's game had 266 rushing yards. 266. Cam Newton, Deshaun Watson, and Russell Wilson had more rushing yards than him before last night's game. Khalil Mack is the only positive thing about this Raiders defense.
Yep.
Other than him, their defense can't stop a Pee Wee football team, to be honest with you. The defense is ranked 26, and they only have 5 turnovers through 9 games, which is just sad.
No, it's unacceptable. And the Raiders, again, we thought they'd be another great team up and coming last year. Before Derek Carr broke his foot, they were, 12-4 going into the postseason, and now, they're struggling. They can't really find their footing. And then defense has always been their problem. Like last year, they're in a lot of close games, but Derek Carr was able to save them. And this year, they can't really find their footing. Who do you think can turn it around?
A team that I think could turn around overall, I would have to go with America's team. The Dallas Cowboys. Not the Patriots, not the Steelers, the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have been on a roll recently. The Cowboys just beat the Chiefs yesterday with a very impressive win. The offensive line helped them get 131 rushing yards against a nice Kansas City Chiefs team, respectable defense. They have a high-power offense and a very solid defense that held Rookie of the Year, Kareem Hunt, to only 37 yards. And the Cowboys may have the Defensive Player of the Year in DeMarcus Lawrence.
Oh, no.
He has became a monster this season.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Wow.
DeMarcus Lawrence has been balling out this season.
DeMarcus Lawrence?
He is second in the league with 10.5 sacks.
Wow.
He has been a force for this team. And Sean Lee has also been a force.
Yeah, absolutely.
When he's been healthy, the Cowboys only give up 88.5 rushing yards per game when he is in the field. And then, let's not even talk about the offense. Zeke, Dak, and they got Mr. X out there and Dez Bryant, who's still
complaining. Still
can get a couple of touchdowns for you every once in a while. This team went 13-3 a year ago, which some people have forgotten.
Yep.
This team get hot fast, and I think if they get on a roll, they'll be a dangerous team in the postseason.
Final thoughts before the break. Who do you see winning MVP?
Right now, for first half of the season, my MVP would be Carson Wentz.
Absolutely.
Carson Wentz, he's the leader of the team that's number 1 in the NFL, 8-1. Every other team, I think, is behind with like 2 or 3 losses. He's got, let's go through some stats. So 23 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions, and he leads the league in touchdown passes.
His second year in the league.
And he's only his second year in the league.
Yeah.
If you look at it, Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott, they were the two rookies from last year who were making noise and, like you said, led the Cowboys to 13-3. But who would have thought that the Eagles with Carson Wentz were going to be the NFC East champs this year? So it's basically a flip-flop, turning it around from last year. So not only are the Eagles doing so well, but to go from worst to first in their division, I'd say that you got to give Wentz the MVP.
Incredible. Yep. And Isaiah, who do you see win MVP?
This is a very tough one for me, especially after seeing Wentz light up the no-fly zone for 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He actually destroyed it. But there's a quarterback for the Patriots. He's on path to reach 5,000 passing yards this season at 40 years old. 40.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
He's about to reach 5,000 yards passing. And then the thing about it is Tom Brady is leading the league in passing yards, second in passer rating, and fourth in passing touchdowns with only 2 interceptions. Wentz and Smith do have more touchdowns than Brady, but they have one more gameplay, so Brady could easily catch up the way he's been playing this year. Also, Tom Brady has more of an argument than Wentz and Smith for MVP race. Alex Smith and Carson Wentz are both doing their thing this year. Don't get me wrong. But Tom Brady doesn't have a Kareem Hunt running the ball for him, leading the league in rushing. He doesn't have a LeGarrette Blount or Jay Ajayi running behind him. He also doesn't have the number 1 run defense like the Eagles or a defense full of playmakers like a Marcus Peters, Justin Houston. Who he does have, wait for it, a Mike Gillislee.
Mike Gillislee.
Exactly. You don't know who that is. My point exactly. The Patriots don't have no running game to support Brady. They have the worst defense in the NFL, giving up 417 yards per game. With all this being said, they are still Super Bowl favorites. They have 99 problems, but a GOAT ain't one.
When we come back, we'll be joined by returning analysts on StorrsNation, and Ben will stick around for some college basketball previews. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We are joined by Hezekiah Johnson, and Ben decided to stick around. NCAA basketball is around the corner as preseason has been gearing up. It's only been a few days until March Madness, right? No, but on the real. With this, we have to talk about our very own Huskies. Fellas, what are your predictions for the season for our very own? Is Kevin Ollie on the hot seat, Ben?
It's crazy to think that just 3 seasons ago, Coach Kevin Ollie was a champion on top of the basketball world, and he had NBA teams calling him for interviews. I remember the Thunder, because he used to play with Kevin Durant, so the Lakers were calling him.
He played with Kevin Durant.
Kevin
Ollie played with Kevin Durant.
He played with Kevin Durant. Hey, Ollie played, I think, for 11 teams.
Yeah, he played for 11 different teams.
In like 11 or so
Through
seasons.
13 seasons. It was 13 seasons, 11 different teams. Yep.
So that man had been around in the NBA. Yep. But is he on the hot seat? I wouldn't say so. I mean, he does have that national championship, and if you fire him, who are you going to have replace him? I mean, Kevin Ollie's already a UConn legend, being a former player here, NBA vet, champion. Is he on the hot seat? It depends who you're going to place blame on for UConn's lack of success. Do you place it on the coach? Do you place it on the lack of ability to recruit the top players? Or do you just place it on the players not playing up to their potential, but not to the fault of the coach?
Injuries as well. Have played a part.
Injuries have been a huge part of. So, this season, UConn's got 8 new players. So they're going to have Jalen Adams and Alterique Gilbert. They're going to form a formidable backcourt. They're going to try to get to that level of Shabazz Napier, Ryan Boatwright, echelon. If UConn wants to win the championship, if they want to win a championship, they always got the best backcourt, whether it's Kemba Walker, Shabazz, whoever. So that's what they're going to try to do. Terry Larrier, he's rocking that number 22 on his jersey, looking like former UConn legend Rudy Gay with his game. So, we'll see. I think they can make it back to the tournament, maybe make some noise if they play to their potential, if they're fully healthy. They're a pretty deep team, I think. So we'll see.
And Hez, how do you think UConn looks this season?
I mean, I agree with Ben. Kevin Ollie is in the hot seat. That's a bit of a stretch. Like that's his credentials is there, and I think this team will shock a lot of people. UConn's known for our women's basketball team being number 1. They sadly got beat last year. That was rough. But I think this team could be really scary. They're coming together as a unit a lot better, and they're looking pretty healthy. CV just came off a minor injury. I think he suffered a little strain in his calf, something. But he looks good. 18 points to 7 boards, that's not bad. And for a non-starter, that's not bad at all. Big man freshman though, Josh Carlton posted 20 points and 4 boards. We need more attacks on the boards.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for exhibition game, it's just a start. It's pretty early. And Jalen Adams, he has to have a terrific season.
Absolutely.
He's the man.
He is the vocal leader. He is that spark plug for this team.
Yep.
No matter what happens, the team is around him.
Absolutely.
In practice, he's stressed, grabbing boards, playing defense, and attacking the lane. You gotta attack the basket. As we talked about earlier, their 3-point shooting is not that good right now. But them 76 in the paint, that's a lot.
And I'm sorry, to the
You're
point
good.
to the point of Kevin Ollie though, I want to say, so 3 years ago they won the national championship, but you have to think about it, that was a season after Jim Calhoun had just left. So a lot of the players actually coming in were a lot of Jim Calhoun's former players. You know, he won the championship with Shabazz, Ryan Boatwright. You know, they had a
That's
stacked
true.
team.
They did.
But and then since then, you know, where have the results been? You know, we missed the tournament 2 years in a row, and then got smoked in the tournament. I mean, we did make it to the second round, lost to Kansas. But I mean,
Kansas was a great team, too.
it was a great team.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I kind of see. Like, if there's another, like, say UConn has another year like last year, I could see the seed getting hot because you know where are the results.
Yeah.
And hey, in college basketball, it's all about having a chance. And if the Huskies can make it into the tournament, history has definitely shown that they can be a dangerous team. But let's be serious. The Huskies' chances of winning it all are smaller than Coach Ollie's mustache. Thank you to all our analysts for giving us your insight. And as always, thank you all for tuning in. Keep hitting that follow button on the UCTV Twitter and tune in next time. I'm your host, Nick Lajara. Be easy.
Hezekiah is the man. Oh, yeah. About to fire Kevin